Just starting to prepare the 3S GTE for the Corolla, and before I get it on the engine stand, I thought I'd take the clutch off and have a look, and it had a bit of oil on it, which was weird. Obviously, first thought when oil is on the clutch area is it's the rear main seal, but it wasn't all at the bottom, so it wasn't that. And then Thomas was like, well, probably coming from the flywheel bolts, because on some cars, and this clearly is one of them, well, some engines, the flywheel bolts go all the way through the crank, so they're open to the oil. So unless they're sealed up, it'll seep through the threads, because it was only a little tiny bit. So you're meant to Loctite them. And he said, I bet they're not Loctited. So I took one out, and lo and behold, oil dripped out of it, and they was very oily all along the threads, and they weren't Loctited. So I've basically brake cleaned everything, and one by one took these ARP flywheel bolts out, added a load of Loctite, torqued them back up, and now I've got to put it all back together. Clutch is a proper nice bit of kit, by the way. OS Gicken twin plate. So you've got that bit, then these go in, which holds them in place like that. Then plate 2, then the cover. Much better. Just got to work out what torque I do that up to, because I don't want obviously them coming loose either. And then I reckon I can put it on the engine stand and get the rest ready. To be honest, all I really need to do is I want to whip the sump off just to have a look, of course, because it's just wise not to, and give it a damn good clean. Maybe I'm probably better off leaving all these ancillaries on, because this engine's pretty fresh, a lot fresher than the engine is coming out of, or is coming out of my Corolla. So it seems mad not to just reuse these. So that's what I'm going to do. This evening I've been making the Corolla's engine look a lot more like it should, because although it was a pretty low mile engine, it'd been stood for a long time and stood in a body shop as well. And despite being covered up, you know what body shops are like, it's just dust. So this engine looked pretty grotty. So I spent a few hours making it, wow, more like it was meant to look. The paint was all peeling off the cam cover, stuff like that. So I've redone the cam cover. I've given a lot of it just a quick lick of black paint, which looks better than rust. cleaned everything, degreased everything, so it's all just decent. You know, it's not perfect, it's never gonna be, but it's not a show car, it's gonna be a fast car. So yeah, I was gonna do the cam belt today, hence why I've got the front pulley off and the front cover and all that crap. But then I thought, you know what, I wasn't going to initially do the tensioner because it's hardly had any use. But I thought, you know, I don't want to take the risk, so bollocks to it. I've ordered a tensioner now, so I can't do the cam belt until that turns up anyway. So, you know, no big deal. But apart from that, it's all looking good. I want to order a new oil cap as well, because that one is a bit knackered. The sump on this looks a bit dented to me, so I'll just be reusing the sump off the engine that's already in the Corolla. Aside from that, all the parts look fine, but there was always going to be stuff I was going to be swapping over from the Corolla. But it looks like sump is going to be one of them now. Just the metal piece at the bottom, not the entire thing. But yeah, overall looking pretty smart. So yeah, it's getting there. I mean, obviously still I need to get the injectors cleaned and flowed because they've sat for ages. Like I said, oil cap. I need the new seals for under the cam cover that go around like the plug holes and stuff. You know, there's lots of bits and pieces, but you know, it's getting there. What would probably be easiest for me to do now, well, would make it easier, is I've had the Corolla here, because as much as this sounds like it's just going to be a, you know, take one engine out, put a new one in job, things never work out that way, do they? So it would be nice to have both cars, both engines here, and I can swap the bits around to get it ready, rather than bring the car here, get it straight on the ramp or whatever, and you know, thinking, oh, you know, I'll have it done in a day, and then I realise shit needs, you know, modifying or changing. So I might work out how I can get the Corolla here. It could sit there, I suppose, so it's not like there's no room for it. So yeah, that's where we are. Oh, another thing. Wing mirrors on the MX5 are now a lot smaller and a lot nicer looking. I don't like big mirrors. I've said it before. Big mirrors just look weird on a car, especially considering MX5s are small cars. But now the mirrors are more suited to the size of the car. They're literally like bolt-on direct replacements. They cost me like, I think it's 35 quid off eBay for the pair of them. And yeah, aside from the fact that the original mirror screws took some serious effort to get off, pretty bloody easy. So yeah, much better mirrors. Now I just need to sort the headlights out, because, well, headlights, the indicator duct thing is a few bits and pieces, but body wise we're near enough there. So yeah, lots of things are nearing completion, which is nice, because it'd be good to get shit out of the way. After yesterday's tidy up of the engine, I've spent an hour or so giving the gearbox a clean today. Just wire wheel, a brush and stuff like that. And it's actually come up pretty mint. By rights it should, because it's hardly done any miles. It was fully rebuilt, same time as the engine. and it had the CAS diff put in it and all that. So yeah, it's a fresh box. But like it was sat in a bloody workshop, well, body shop for years. So it was covered in fucking filler dust and all that kind of stuff. So it looked terrible, even though I knew it was good. But thankfully it was only filler dust. So a little bit of brushing and messing about later, and it's pretty mint. I could, if I wanted to, carry on all day and make it immaculate, but it's not about that. So this is cleaner than 99% of gearboxes. So job done. Gearbox number 2, ready to go. This one for the Volvo Penta Turbo MX5. M90 gearbox, late spec one, and very tidy, low mile one by the looks of it. It's in my, I mean, I've took the casing off it, and it's like brand new inside, so I'm fairly confident it'll live, considering like that knackered old thing survived 30 psi plus in the Volvo for God knows how long, literally getting treated like shit in a much heavier car. So I'm pretty confident in this, and it's nice and clean now at least. So be time soon to mate it up to the engine and plonk it in the car. Fun times. I've just been looking at the inlet manifold on this 3S GTE, and right from the beginning, from when I first bought the Corolla, I've never liked the design. I don't like centre feed plenums full stop. I just don't think they're very good. Unfortunately, on the Corolla, things are very tight at the back of the engine bay. Like literally, you couldn't make it go any further back than that. That is your limit. But I still don't like that. The main problems is to even get to the injectors on the standard setup in the Corolla, you'd practically have to take the fucking engine out. It's just there's no room, and you can't, there's no way you'd get the inlet manifold off with the engine in the current place. But I do like the long runner design. I don't like the plenum. I don't think the flow distribution is likely to be very good, because A, it's very off center, and while it's tapered there to try and stop too much flow going to that, it's going to massively be biased to that, and exactly the opposite to that. There's nothing internally that will help it go to that over that. So I don't, although I've obviously never tested it, by eye it doesn't look like a very equal flowing design at all, and that ain't great for reliability as much as anything. This is the standard throttle body. It's not very big. It's big enough. It's probably what, 60mm, something like that, which is, you can do a lot more power with a turbo on a 60mm one than most people believe. But the main problem with it is it's fucking massive, and the idle control shite underneath takes up so much room that you just can't access anything. It's a bit of a pain going over the plugs and everything as well, because to get the to even access the plugs and the leads, it's awkward, but it can be done. But I'd much rather have this kind of runners, but with a side plenum, ideally a twin plenum. To be honest, looking at this intake, you could probably modify this for side feed and it wouldn't be too bad. But either way, I want to maybe modify it before we put it in. Probably keep these runners, but chop it off and make a new plenum. Not 100% on that, but it feels to me, seeing as it's such a pain, like an engine out job, to do the inlet manifold once it's in the Corolla, I think it'd be better to do it first, because other stuff, exhaust side and all that, you can get off no problem in the Corolla. But that side, not really. So if there's anything I would like to sort, it's that side. I mean, this inlet and this throttle body and all that, it's already made, this exact engine is made over 600 brake with a fairly small turbo. So it's not like it can't do it, but I'm thinking of simplicity and the general layout. I'd much rather have it something I'm happier with rather than dealing with that. But we will see. I mean, as it is, imagine if the throttle body was there. Looks like a Honda B16 inlet manifold. Similar runner length and shape, similar plenum shape, just throttle in a different place. And that's not a bad manifold really, but obviously this isn't one. So yeah, we will see, but I reckon something needs to be done.